So, if you're building anything with Microsoft AI, you've almost certainly heard the term Microsoft GraphRAG. It sounds straightforward, right? But here's the thing. That one name is causing a ton of confusion, and for a really good reason. In this explainer, we are going to clear all of that up for you.
So what's the deal here? Well, that single name, Microsoft GraphRAG, is being used for two completely, fundamentally different things. One is a super practical solution you can start using today. The other is a research-level powerhouse that gives us a glimpse into the future of AI. And you know what? Getting this distinction right is absolutely critical for making smart decisions.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the core RAG pattern. Then we'll compare the two different approaches, and finally, we'll give you a clear framework to make the right choice for you. We'll even take a quick peek at what's coming next. By the time we're done, all that confusion, gone. You'll know exactly what's what.
All right, let's just dive right in. When somebody says Microsoft GraphRAG, what are they actually talking about? Well, it could be a standard system that just uses your Microsoft 365 data, or it could be this thing called GraphRAG, which is a completely different beast coming out of Microsoft Research. So let's really dig in and figure out what's going on.
Okay, but hold on. Before we can really pit these two against each other, we all need to be on the same page about what RAG even is. Trust me, understanding this basic pattern is the key to everything else.
So, RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation. At its core, it's really just a clever design pattern. See, the big problem with large language models is that their knowledge is kind of stuck in the past, right? RAG fixes that. It basically connects an LLM, like GPT-4, to your live private data. This is what grounds the model in reality, giving it the fresh context it needs to answer questions about your business, all without the insane cost of retraining the model from the ground up.
And this quote right here, it hits on something absolutely crucial. I mean, think about it. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out scenario. You could have the most powerful LLM on the planet, but if the information you give it is junk, well, the answer you get back is going to be junk too. This means the magic, the real value, is all in that retrieval step.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, you can think of it like a four-step dance. Step 1, you, the user, ask a question in some app. Step 2, an orchestrator kind of manages the whole flow. Step 3, and this is the most important part, the information retrieval system goes out and finds the most relevant little snippets from your data. And then step 4, the LLM takes your original question plus that juicy data it just found to cook up a really smart, context-aware answer.
All right, so now that we've got that foundation laid, let's talk about the first flavor of Microsoft GraphRAG. This is the standard approach, the one that uses your M365 data. And let's be super clear, for 95% of businesses out there, this is the one. This is the practical, ready-to-go solution you're looking for.
You want to know the best way to think about the standard RAG? Picture a super-powered librarian. You ask it a question, and it instantly zips through your entire digital library, all your documents, your emails, your chats, and finds the exact pages and paragraphs that have the answer. It's not making stuff up. It's just an expert at finding the exact piece of existing information you need, and it does it in a flash. But here's the real game changer with this approach, the absolute killer feature. When you use the Microsoft 365 Copilot Retrieval API, you're not making a copy of your data that you have to secure all over again. The API pulls the data in place, which means it automatically respects all the security permissions you already have. This is, and I can't stress this enough, a massive strategic advantage. It basically solves the single biggest headache for any enterprise trying to do AI: security and governance.
So let's just boil it down. What are the takeaways here? First off, it's mature, it's production ready. You can use it today. It plugs right into the security you've already spent years building, it automatically knows who's allowed to see what, and it's way cheaper and less complex. Basically, for the bread and butter tasks of finding stuff and summarizing it, this is your go-to tool.
Okay, so that's the librarian. Now let's totally shift gears and talk about the other RAG, GraphRAG. And it's really important to get this. This is not a replacement for what we just talked about. This is more like a specialized tool from the future, designed for a completely different kind of problem.
Okay, so if the standard RAG is our librarian, GraphRAG is our hard-boiled detective. You don't just hand it a library card and ask for a book.
No, you walk into its office, drop a complicated case file on the desk, and say, solve this. It digs through all the evidence, connects all these different clues from different places, and finds those hidden relationships to crack the case. It doesn't just find stuff, it creates brand new insights.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth does it do that? Well, the secret sauce is something called a knowledge graph. Instead of just seeing a bunch of text, GraphRAG structures information into a network of nodes. Think of those as things like a customer or a product, and edges, which are the relationships that connect those things, like placed_order or works with.
And this right here is the absolute core difference in how these two systems see your data. Standard RAG, it just sees chunks of text. But GraphRAG, it sees this beautiful, interconnected web of facts. And it's that understanding of the connections that unlocks all its power.
And because it sees the world this way, GraphRAG has some truly mind-blowing advantages. It's amazing at what we call multi-hop reasoning. You know, connecting the dots from A to B, then from B to C, to find an answer that was totally hidden before. This makes it way more accurate for really complex questions. And because it follows a logical path, its answers are explainable, which, let me tell you, is a huge deal when you're trying to get people to actually trust these AI systems.
But of course, all that power comes at a pretty steep price. Building and maintaining one of these knowledge graphs is a massive undertaking, both technically and financially. It's not great for data that's constantly changing, and here's the big one, you guys, this is still very much at a research level. This is not some off-the-shelf tool you can just download and deploy tomorrow. It's a highly specialized methodology for very specific, very high-value problems.
All right, so we've met our two contenders, the practical librarian and the powerful detective. Now it's time for the main event, figuring out which one is right for you and your business.
So before we jump into the final decision chart, let's just hammer this home one last time. Are you mostly trying to find and summarize stuff that already exists? You need the librarian. That's your standard RAG. But if you're trying to uncover those deep, hidden connections and answer those really tough why questions, well, then you might need to call in the detective, GraphRAG.
And this table right here, this basically puts it all together for you. It's your cheat sheet. Just walk down the list. What kind of reasoning do you need? Simple lookups or complex, multi-step stuff? What kind of data are you working with? And then look at those last three rows: cost, complexity, and maturity. Suddenly, the choice becomes pretty darn clear, doesn't it? One is ready to go today, leverages your existing security. The other is a massive custom engineering project. This table is your guide. Okay, so that helps us make the right choice for today. But where is all of this tech heading? What's just over the horizon?
Well, the future is all about one thing: AI agents. We're talking about systems that can actually do things for you, handling complex, multi-step workflows all on their own. They'll also be multimodal, which means they won't just understand text, but images and video too. And what's the one piece of foundational tech that will keep all these powerful future agents grounded in your reality using your data? You guessed it, it's RAG.
So that brings us full circle. We end right back where we started, but hopefully with a lot more clarity. The next time you start an AI project, just ask yourself this one simple question. For this problem, right now, do we need a librarian or do we need a detective? Getting that answer right is the first step to success.